Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. So this is crazy. When I saw this article come through on my news feeds, I had to do a video about it. I mean, the brand is so ubiquitous that isn't that exciting, but I'll bet you didn't know that they made this. What am I talking about? Let me explain. So the idea of mechanical desk clocks or mantle clocks isn't new. I think when I was young we had one. It was one of those clocks where you had a key to wind it and there was 3 different places you had to wind this clock in. I feel like 2 of them were for chimes and 1 was for the time itself. I don't recall. But as an introduction to what I really want to show you, we're going to explore some other interesting and cool desk clocks that I've found that are mechanical. So the first one that I found was on a site called Timely and Timeless. And this is an Hermle CHIGWELL? Hermle CHIGWELL? Maybe one of you have heard of this brand and know how to pronounce it, but I do not. This is an amazing looking desk clock. It's in a glass cube. It is mechanical and all of its mechanical parts are visible. The dial looks amazing, modern, yet classy. Super cool. I love the elegant handset on this. And it has a sub-seconds right below the 12 o'clock. That's cool. It looks very high-end because it is high-end. I mean, it's pretty high-end. It retails for just under $3,000, but it looks absolutely brilliant. And the next desk clock I found on a blog called Adafruit, and this is a 3D printed clock. What is this world coming to? And this one's pretty cool. There's even a video of it in action. I like the pops of yellow and green. It kind of adds some excitement to it. It even has a tourbillon. There's a big crown on it. I'm not sure if it does anything because around back there's also a mechanism that looks like it might wind it. But regardless, that's a nice touch. And this would be a really fun piece to have on a desk. It's kind of loud though, so I don't know where you would want to put it. Maybe really up high in a kid's playroom or something. Definitely don't want that in a library or a media room. And apparently this was posted on Twitter. Twitter, how old is this article? 2023. But the original post is still out there. I'll have to add a link to that in the show notes below. Very interesting. Such a cool project. I also found a really cool kind of nautical looking desk clock. And this one is quite a bit more affordable than the first one we looked at. It's brass, it's on a tripod. The dial is very elegant, so are the hands. And the listing describes the movement as being mechanical, but also stopwatch. However, in the pictures it looks like it's just a standard clock with a sub-seconds dial, so I don't know about the stopwatch thing. Apparently it chimes on the hour, and it retails for under $300. I also found a really cool retro-looking clock on Christie's, and this one sold for over $3,000. It's a solar-powered Patek Philippe clock. It's square and it has an absolutely brilliant dial on it. I mean, this is the kind of retro desk clock that I'm actually after. I have an eBay search for these. Not these, but for vintage desk clocks. The back looks wild. And being solar powered, it's not really a mechanical clock. But it was so cool, I had to include it. It looks just brilliant. Alright, so now that we're all warmed up, let's talk about the desk clock that we're really here to go over. Did you know that Rolex makes a Submariner desk clock? Yes, they do. Crazy. And it looks absolutely wild. Like, look at it being held in someone's hand. It even has a bezel on it, but more on that later. And it has the Cyclops, it just looks like a gigantic Submariner. But it gets wilder. It's encased in a semi-spherical stainless steel housing. And apparently there are ball bearings in it, so they kind of click into place when you close it. So as you would imagine, coming from Rolex, just opening this up apparently feels absolutely amazing. So the write-up of this desk clock was on Hodinkee, and strangely enough, the author was kind of puzzling about the date and why you would go with that on a desk clock, because you'll have to adjust it depending on the month, which is strange because any watch that has a standard date wheel will need adjusted. However, when the author finally opened it up and took a peek inside, it turns out this clock is actually not mechanical. Inside this clock is a Rolex caliber 8335, and that movement has what is called a secular date, which means you don't have to adjust the date. So when you pull out the crown, which is inside the case, it turns on a little clock display where you can set the date, month, day, year, and just let it go. There is one sad thing about this clock though. Apparently the bezel is fixed. Why? You could have used this as an egg timer if it had a functional bezel. A $10,000 egg timer. But here's what the author has to say about these clocks. As it turns out, a few months ago, Rolex quietly released the new Submariner desk clock, reference 909010LN. After a weekend in London and a full flight back home, I'm still not overseeing this thing in the metal. The Submariner desk clock is set in a hemispherical case, not in Rolex typical 904L stainless steel, but rather in the more conventional 316L. Used by the industry. It sits freely on a little circular pedestal with the curved case back intended to allow the owner to position the clock at any angle preferred. No crown, no screwed in case back, just a chamfered seam that gives away the exterior case's two-part construction. But when I finally cracked open the clock and saw the caliber, the date window finally made sense. Inside the Submariner desk clock is the new analog digital quartz Rolex caliber 8335, which, as proudly engraved on the broadly striped and chamfered caseback, is a secular calendar movement. And right there on the bottom left of the caseback sat a crown with a particularly tall crown tube. Pull out the crown, and in an experience I've never said about any Rolex in my life, the LCD at the top comes to life. There is only one line of information belonging to the display, the current date, month, and year, in European format. When setting the time past midnight, you could feel and hear the date window on the face of the watch jumping forward with a light click. At the same time, the LCD on the back updates to reflect the next day. So apparently a secular calendar is a step up from a perpetual calendar. While a conventional perpetual calendar accounts for leap years, it still requires a manual correction every 100 years due to the Gregorian calendar. The secular calendar, on the other hand, accounts for that 100-year cycle through the year 2400, meaning that aside from a battery change, this clock would keep the date on the front accurate every month for the next 400 years or so. And yes, if you wind the time past midnight in reverse, the date window rolls back gradually to reflect the previous day. Yeah, so this desk clock is absolutely crazy looking. Too bad it doesn't have a functional bezel, because, I mean, egg timer. But yeah, I never thought I would see one of these. And at this high quality. Craziness. I mean, there's the wall clocks that are made to look like Submariners and other well-known watches. But I mean, this is definitely luxury quality. And I mean, you're paying about as much as an actual Submariner for it. But yeah, when I encountered this, I had to share it. Thanks for watching.